Once again, live from Ray's office. This is like the third time I've tried making this video. I ran out of battery, and then I had a couple of failed attempts, and then on my last one I was cruising right along and I ran out of memory. So it's been a little bit frustrating, but we'll get there. So here's our X3 Pro. I'm going to touch on a couple of things really quick, and then we'll just walk through a daily pack check. So we've got the snap change. All of our SCBA air packs have this snap change valve on them. So it has this quick release right here that engages right here in the pack. And there's two handles here. You pull out on them to release the cylinder. When you push the snap change connector in there, you'll get a definitive click and both of those handles will go in. So pretty easy system there. These cylinders valves also have a one-way valve built in. That's a CGA connection. So the CGA threaded connection is what will be in our fill stations, and you're going to have to thread on to fill, but you do not open this valve. It's one way in. So you'll thread this on, shut the door of the fill station, start applying your air, and it'll fill through there, but air will not come back out of this connection right here. So you just hook it up, fill, unhook it. That's it. This dust cap is actually on the check sheet, that you note that it is present and in good shape and secured over this CGA threaded connection. But we'll touch on that again in a minute when we go through that check sheet, because we're going to go through it step by step. But it seems pertinent to mention it right now since I'm holding it. NFD identification numbers are in two places on the cylinder. They're both on the main body of the cylinder, but at the valve end. So this one we've got S4074, and it's on the opposite side as well. So hopefully that's easy enough for everybody to find when they're doing their daily check. We also did put NFD on there, just in case you went to FDTN or some other kind of training and you've got a big pile of cylinders there that are being filled, or at the end of the training everybody's collecting their stuff. Everybody there can hopefully see that and at least be able to kind of reference it back to, if not that belongs to Noblesville, maybe if it's somebody who's not from Noblesville, they'll see it and they'll say, oh, that definitely doesn't belong to me. So either way. I did burn in this whole ensemble here. So this X3 pack, this cylinder, my mask, my regulator, we got pretty hot, and I'm pretty impressed with this cylinder protective sleeve, how well it held up. We've had nothing but problems with our Interspiro cylinders taking damage from impacts and abrasions, and a myriad of damage that actually requires a repair and a hydrostatic test. So that's out of service time and a lot of repair time, and then even down to condemning the cylinder. So we have a whole pile of condemned cylinders now, and when you start doing the math on that, this cylinder protective sleeve, I think we paid $120 or $125 per cylinder to put this sleeve on here. If that saves us a $2,000 cylinder, and now you start multiplying that by, say, 30, I'll buy one of these sleeves all day, any day. So if we damage this sleeve, we'll replace it. I just don't want to damage the cylinder underneath. Obviously, there's still some unprotected areas, the cylinder valve, this little bit of the cylinder right here, but to be able to cover 95% of everything, I think they'll suit our needs well. And again, it seemed to handle the heat just fine in this fire that I helped with. As far as let's just touch on that fire. So after the fire, those burns, I deconned here at Station 7. I did not use the pack washer. I just manually cleaned it. Everything cleaned up really well with the exception of these aluminum components. And it's not that they're not clean. They are clean. They just stained. So be aware, you might not be able to get your pack spotless after a fire. but as long as it's actually clean and like soot or dirt are not transferring off onto your hands. Some discolorations to be expected, right? We're dealing with hundreds of degrees. You know, something's bound to not turn out spotless on the other end of that. But make sure that you're doing your best to clean everything. That's really important. Okay, let me pull it up here. Okay, so what we've been doing historically, and I believe we're going to continue doing this, unless there's a reason not to, is when you do your daily pack check, you're going to reference this cylinder number, and you're going to reference the pack number, which our Nova's little ID is right here on the back frame. I guess on the front side of the back frame, where it would touch your back. There's a number here, so this is 017P, and again, the cylinder is S4074. So I'm going to enter both of those in PS tracks for the appropriate position on the apparatus. I have my regulator and I have my mask, and they each have a unique number as well. So, you know, this one's 107. I haven't added my secondary label yet. Don't worry about it. That's a problem for another time. But so my NFD number is 107 here and 092M on my mask. We don't make you enter that in PS tracks because we operate under the presumption that the mask that you have and the regulator that you have are important enough to you and are touched enough by you that they're in the condition they need to be. So you're still going to check them every day, and you're going to tell me that you check them every day in PS tracks, but I don't necessarily care what number it is. I just want to know that you had equipment that day that was working and that you used that working equipment to test the equipment that's on the apparatus. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if that was the right or wrong decision or the right or wrong way to set things up, but it seems to have been working, and I think we're going to continue doing it that way. So we're going to walk through a check here, a daily check. So your pack, mask, and regulator are clean. This is the first point, and it has you know, a description there. No soot, insulation, dirt, or other debris are present. Soiled or contaminated gear must be cleaned before continuing with the inspection. So anything's dirty, go clean it now. So we're going to say everything's clean. We're good. So we're going to check okay on that and continue on. The next one is the regulator. So now you're saying my regulator, the body is intact and undamaged. This sealing surface right here looks good. The air saver switch, which is this right here, is intact, undamaged, and in the closed position. So obviously to close airflow, you're going to make sure that it's pushed all the way forward until it clicks. And you're going to do that every time that you take this thing off. Make sure you get that click. The purge valve, intact, undamaged, and in the closed position. So all the way to the right, the little notch is facing perfectly straight up. The hose is intact and undamaged. These connections down here, the electronics and the air connection, they're intact, they're undamaged, there's no debris, no damage visible, no excessive wear on this air connection. A good indicator of that would be either something's misshapen, deformed somehow, or this is a black connection. If it starts turning silver somewhere, that might be an indication that there's some wear happening, and you might want to switch out your regulator to a different one. Now you're going to move on to your mask. So your mask, your head harness is in good shape. None of the straps are frayed or torn. All the buckle points around the mask are intact. They're secure. Everything looks right and tight. All the rubber components, there's no cracking, there's no splitting, tearing of any of the rubber all the way around the mask. This nose cone in your mask seems like it's secure, seems like it's how it should be. A little note on this, there are these two red discs, not too dissimilar from the inner spiro. Those are what prevent your mask from fogging up, or at least they help to prevent your mask from fogging up. So if anything ever happens with those, even as small as those are, they may seem pretty insignificant, and in reality, they won't stop you from breathing if they're screwed up, right? Like they're insignificant in that aspect, but even those being messed up can prevent this whole deal from operating how it should. could obstruct your vision somehow. So even if those are messed up, switch your mask out. That's fine. I don't mind. I want you to be confident in what you're wearing. And the last thing that I'm saying to check is this lens. So no crazing, no cracking, no other visible damage. If you don't know what crazing looks like, ask me. I've collected a lot of heat damaged lenses over the years, and I could show you some very clear examples so you'll kind of know what to look out for. But I've always had good luck kind of holding it up to the light and looking across the mask at an angle and kind of rotating around and looking all the way across that surface to find those little micro cracks that develop from heat. Through the course of use, you're going to get scratches on your lens. That's fine. You're just going to have to deal with a certain amount of that. However, if it ever gets to the point where you feel like your vision is becoming obstructed by scratches, please switch out your mask. I want you to be comfortable and confident and efficient wearing the equipment that you have. So I want you to feel confident in it, but I also want you to be able to operate effectively when you're wearing it. So that, to me, if anything is obstructing your vision, that's reason to switch out. I don't mind. So the mask is all good. All right, on to the pack for visual inspection. The frame is in good shape. All these harnesses look good. Everything's intact. There's nothing cut or fraying. All these snaps, make sure that they're all hooked in. All the straps are fully extended. There's no cuts or fraying or other damage to them. This drag rescue loop